Platform.
Good evening and welcome to the People's Platform. The Latin maxim, mens sana in corpore sano, a healthy mind in a healthy body, is a difficult one to navigate but an important one to do so. Our topic of discussion tonight is on a psychological phenomenon known as learned helplessness. This is where individuals come to believe that they have no control over their environment or outcomes even when they actually do. Over time, individuals may internalize a sense of helplessness, leading them to stop trying to improve their situation even when opportunities for change exist. This can have significant negative impacts on mental health, motivation, and behavior, often resulting in feelings of despair, low self-esteem, and passivity. How do we identify this phenomenon of learned helplessness? How do we cope with it? How do we overcome it? Let's have the conversation. I'm so pleased to welcome to the studio clinical psychologist Nilusha Gunathilaka. Good evening and welcome, Nilusha.
Good evening, Sonali.
Nilusha, my first question. When we were having a conversation before the show on what we should discuss, this concept of learned helplessness was discussed. And I found it fascinating when I researched on it. So take us through some of the causes.
Actually, as you said, it is a very fascinating phenomenon, psychological phenomenon. At the same time, it is very incredible how it can affect any human being, especially women, because women, they may not knowing that I'm going through this as well. Okay, when it comes to learned helplessness, as you explained earlier, it is when the person is going through one after the other challenges or negative experience, like the person come to one point and feel like, okay, I can't do anything about it. I'm done, like this is my fate or the karma, so like I'm not going to get out of this condition. So mostly men or women, anybody can go through this, but when it happens to women, like they are stagnating there anymore, that they don't exist in the life as a human being. At the same time, like they give up and they don't want to try again and face the challenge as well. Why it happens is a very good question. It can be the repetitive tendency of this negative and very challenging situations that they are facing, and connecting to that is their mindset, how they think about it. Because earlier stages, they might have tried about anything, something to do and get out of the condition. But after a while, they stop trying. They basically give up. So it is the person's mindset, how they think about this situation.
Right. Nilusha, it's also important to distinguish between ordinary struggle in life because we do have setbacks, we do have to deal with adversity. How do we distinguish between this and learned helplessness?
Yes, definitely. So the day-to-day adversities we all experience, but actually we have the thought process of course, like this difficulty or challenge, but how am I going to overcome it? So like we don't like the lag behind because of that difficulty. So like we will take our own time to recover from it, but we will face the future and we will find some other options. We will make decision over it. But when the person is going through this learned helplessness, anymore the person is not trying. He's just neglect themselves or himself or herself, and also they don't want to try anymore. So like the self-esteem is really, really low, like they don't believe anymore, okay, I can do something about that. So anymore there's no any decision making about that, and very passive. And even they don't know, okay, I'm going through this situation. They feel like, okay, I have to do this. It's because the society expects me to do that. For an example, suppose the person is, a woman is daily being physically abused, but they think, okay, society expects me to stay at home and it's because I have to protect the family. Right? So at that time, even though she might have many other options, it's not like, I'm not saying, okay, they have to leave the family. No, but get help and the other stuff. Even person is not thinking to get that help even.
Right. So the ability to critically think of solutions and the concept of hope is
also not there, because they don't believe anymore I have any other hope or I have any other methods to get out of this condition.
Right.
So they are really okay with the current condition because they have already accepted it as okay, this is my fate, this is my karma. Even how this is different from, as you say, ask Sonali, it is the other person, they think okay, this is something has experienced by me, this is what it is, but what I can do to go beyond that situation, how am I going to face this challenge? That thought process is there for the other person. Right. For the learned helplessness person, like this experience is I'm totally helpless, I can't do anything, so I'm going to settle with this situation. Even though opportunities are there, they are not ready to take those opportunities.
Sure. So then there is a larger responsibility on others around them to maybe guide them. So how can we equip people with this knowledge, Nilusha? What can be done?
Yeah, exactly. For the first thing is, when you see a person is repeatedly facing these difficulties and challenges and adversities in their life, so you need to be a bit mindful about them and see whether are they stagnating with those problems, whether the solutions are around them, because as an outsider it is very easy for us to see the solution because we are not in the problem. But they might not see it, but they are very comfortable with the current situation, what they are going through. So at that time we need to pay more attention and empathize with them and guide them to the relevant parties or a psychologist or psychiatrist, or even as a friend you can help them. You know, to understand, okay, I think you can make some decision here, like you are suffering and you are accepting the fact, like not knowing you are going through this concept of learned helplessness.
Sure. Nilusha, when one goes through emotional and mental strife and agony, it is extremely isolating. And it's really difficult to see a solution because you find yourself in a rut and unable to think of solutions, think of best case scenarios. There's so much negativity and passivity that surrounds you that you feel like your problem is the biggest problem.
Yes.
For those going through this kind of mental struggle, what must they do in terms of a first step?
Yes, as the first step, actually, they need to get the social support. They need to reach out to the other people, their friends or like the family members, whoever that they can get help, or other professional. Even the professional is come late, it's because it is a huge step, at least to reach out to their friends. Because at that time they see, okay, there are people who can help me. It is not I am all alone in this world. It is not that I am center of this universe with these all problems here. Because that loneliness will make so many other problems and stagnating at the same place. So the reaching out to the others and also other people reaching out to this person with more empathy. Right? And the other thing is self-care. That is essential. Self-care means like understanding, okay, what am I going through here? So the understanding that concept itself, okay, I'm stagnating here, now what can I do? First thing is, when the people are going through this self-helplessness, that they neglect themselves. It can be basic needs even. So that what they have to eat, like they need to take main 3 meals and to have good sleep and engaging with other people and have me time. That is really important, and to maintain their health, so the exercise and other those things. So they start neglecting those things. And even primary things like if they are doing education and work and those everything. So we need to concentrate on those things. So like the first of all, you need to take care of yourself. The second, reach out to the others and get help. Third, like the once you understand, like, okay, something is wrong with my thought process, thinking process, okay, like because the person feels, okay, I don't have any hope here. So then you need to reach out to someone and get help.
Yeah. And we also need to acknowledge, I feel that the universality of mental health issues, everyone's going through it to some extent.
Exactly, it is so normal. Just as you are going through any physical illness, as long as you have a brain, you can go through any sort of psychological condition or mental health condition. That is so natural and normal because you are a normal human being. Just accept that, even though, because I know in Sri Lankan context, mental health is some sort of huge stigma. And like people can't openly discuss about it, it's because they feel, okay, others will feel that I'm mad, I'm going crazy. It is not about like the mental health. Mental health is sustaining your mental, psychological, physical well-being here. Okay, it is the totality of the health. So any human being can go through these things. It is not something, okay, these sort of people are going through and I'm not going through it. No, everybody who has a brain, they can go through it.
All right. Let's also discuss the gendered dimension of learned helplessness, where women are disproportionately impacted by this. And women also have this added burden of being societally conditioned to take on the burden of childcare, household duties, etc., etc.
Exactly, because one thing is stigma, because as you said, society is expecting so much, and after that what the person need to do is, okay, I want to make society happy. Society means my family members happy and my extended family members happy. Not only I want to make them happy, I want to do exceptionally. Do it. It means I want to do it very perfectly. So this perfectionism, of course, it will drive the person to have very dark and negative place. So where person can't achieve that perfectionism, with that person will feel, okay, I'm not doing this enough or good enough. With that very low self-esteem, after that, that he or she, basically the mothers, like they might start thinking, okay, I'm not a good mother, because they have the concept of super mom or super wife. So it is not something achievable here. So after, like the one after the other, if they experience these kind of challenges, and one point they will feel like, okay, I can't get out of this situation. And also, especially in Sri Lankan context and the world literature, it emphasizes like the women face a lot of physical abuse because they are physically not strong as men. So when the women start facing this physical abuse with the context and the situation and cultural ideas, like you need to bear everything without telling about what they are going through to others, even the professionals, I have to bear this, that whatever like I'm going through, that is make them to stay in this learned helplessness situation.
So we have normalized toxic behaviors throughout the decades.
Exactly. So that's the very bad situation here. And also persons start believing, okay, I can't discuss about these things, I shouldn't put it out there, it means I'm a bad person, I'm not a good wife, I'm not a good mother. If I want to like keep my family, I shouldn't discuss about these things. So that is what we call biases, social desirability bias. So that the person has the bias, okay, I shouldn't discuss any of these things, I need to show the society, okay, my family is the best family. So you can see with the many Facebook posts, like they show, okay, their family is the very best family. I'm not saying all the Facebook posts are like the bogus, but mostly like we can see that, right? Because they're trying to prove this to the society, we have the best thing.
Yeah, and you do it at the expense of your own mental and physical health, and you self-abandon.
Exactly. So that they, after a while, they start neglecting themselves. So like they start some sort of sacrificing for others, like that thought is there in their mind, but what happens is, what cost? Like they are not prioritizing their own health, physical or mental health.
And we see how throughout history, this narrative of self-sacrificial love by women has been normalized, whether it's through films like Mother India or religious scriptures, etc. We've completely normalized this narrative, which is really harming the entirety of women.
Exactly, because self-sacrifice means you disregard yourself at all. So like in that case, if you disregard yourself, how are you going to take care of your own family? Because love means very complex emotion, and it includes like a lot of feelings such as affection, tenderness, care, and the well-being of the other people, and a lot of emotions and feelings are there in this particular emotion. So with that, so suppose if one is trying to take care of others like without disregarding themselves, him or herself, it means how long that person can maintain that thing.
Yeah.
And also if it is costing him or herself, then it will affect for sure the society and the family members.
Yeah.
So it will negatively affect the family members. So self-sacrifice means we don't actually say like those things are bad or anything, but we ask basically take care of yourself.
Prioritize yourself.
Exactly.
And that will give you the strength to also serve others.
Definitely.
All right, we're in conversation with clinical psychologist Nilusha Gunathilaka. We're going for a break. We'll be right back.
The People's Platform. Singharaja, Sri Lanka's precious world heritage. TV1. TV for life.
Two proposals formed for sovereign bond restructuring. Hints of final agreements being postponed. Easter attacks deemed a conspiracy. A special investigation commission to serve justice. A pledge from the National People's Power. Maithripala and Nimal Siripala de Silva jointly attend Sirimavo Bandaranayaka Memorial. Chandrika attends separately. Damita remanded again. Israel prepares to retaliate against Iran, reveals British Foreign Minister.
TV1. TV for life. The People's Platform.
Welcome back. I'm in conversation with clinical psychologist Nilusha Gunathilaka. Nilusha, we spoke about the dangers of self-sacrificial love. We aren't really taught what constitutes good love. So help us understand from a clinical psychological point of view.
Yes, exactly. Actually, clinical psychological perspective, that the Sternberg, he's a psychologist, he explained about this love. So according to him, if it is a relationship, in a relationship, that love means like the intimacy need to be there and the passion need to be there, and with the lot of responsibility, the commitment need to be there. So actually we discuss about this romantic love. According to psychology, romantic love means the intimacy and the passion is there, but not the commitment. For an example, actually 18 years old girl came to me and she said like her boyfriend asked her to show her love. So I said, okay, how did you show your love to him and what did he ask you? And actually he has demanded her to prove her love with sex. So it means it is not the responsibility, it is not the commitment, it is only about the passion and what they want. It is not love according to psychology. And also like one of my friend, like she said, okay, she's going through cough for like the 2 weeks. I asked her whether didn't you get some medication. So she said no, because my son and daughter, they have their practices and classes and this and that, and today I need to take my cat to the veterinary, so because of that I don't have time to go to the doctor.
So self-neglect.
Self-neglect. So that is not love again, right? So according to psychology, love means like it need to include in a relationship like the intimacy and the passion as well as commitment and the responsibility. Basically we don't understand these things. We think okay, love means only the passion or otherwise the intimacy. Suppose if you have only the commitment, because most of the time people have only the commitment, okay, because okay, I have the family, so I need to do these things, so if I provide money and the other things like that is I have done everything to my family. So what's the problem there? Actually the problem is the passion and the intimacy is not there. So we call it an empty love. So actually according to psychology, what we ask people to have is compassion and the intimacy and the commitment. That is what we call consummate love. It is not something very easy to achieve, telling you the truth, but we need to work on that, because we can't have love without the commitment and we can't have love without the intimacy and passion as well.
Nilusha, it's so strange to me that I mean, human beings are social creatures. We are meant to be in society, and yet we are not taught these basic concepts of relationship education, of dignity and respect and mutual understanding. So we see little children grow up to be adolescents, who grow up to be adults, who act with repressed emotions, who act with aggression. If we take males and women who are very passive largely, and are so unaware of their own rights, of their own responsibilities. So all of this is quite messed up.
Exactly. It's because first of all our education system, we discuss about the science, maths and those things, even though we don't discuss about how you can handle these relationships and how do you need to take care of yourself with the respect. Because love and those things, something we need to discuss, and the sex also, because child is a child up until 18, that the person will be there with the parents, but after 18 they are going to the society. The society is not only the parents and the teachers, right? All the other people are there, so they have their own wants and they have their own way of manipulating other people, so that we need to teach children about this love concept. Love doesn't mean like you are providing everything. It is not about self-sacrificing. It is not like the keeping your mouth shut when you were treated really badly. And when the other people are taking you for granted, like you doing continuously everything. So it is not love. So that we need to have a discussion about these things very openly.
Yeah. Nilusha, another thing that societies, especially in the South Asian region, also Sri Lanka, society thrives on weaponizing shame. Shame is something that is used to weaponize and victimize.
Exactly. Actually, in Sri Lanka and South Asia, victim get shamed. Victim is being shamed by the society. So it has to be other way around, because victim is the person who's going through this struggle, who is being oppressed by your oppressor. So at that time, like the society start, okay, mocking them, okay, look at this person, like this girl is going through this, it's because of her bad character, it's the way she has dressed, it's the way this is, it's the way that is, all the negative things about this person. So like the whole society start making mocking towards this person. So that the shame is really like the huge thing for it's not for the person who's going through this bad experience, but it's not for the oppressor. Like we are not like the finger point ourselves and say, okay, look at that person, that he need to take some responsibility as well. Right? So this the thing, because shame actually what it makes is, it makes person very shrink. According to psychological aspect, it means person won't have the self-esteem or the confidence to go in front of other people and say, okay, this is not right, okay, this is what I'm going through, this is what I have experienced. So at that time, with our mind is very shrunken. So like if the society start like the finger point the person who has been like the victimized there, so nobody is there to help. So that all these elements we need to change, and we need to include these things in our education system, telling the truth.
What measures must we take to mainstream mental wellness among men as well as women?
Yeah, for the mainstream wellness, in that case, I think you need to take care of yourself. It means the well-being, the wellness. Wellness means like it is not only like the physically healthy, or like you don't have any illnesses, or it is not I don't have any illness, it means I'm really well. So the actual well-being means you need to have your physical, psychological, social, financial and spiritual and the occupational wellness. So all these areas need to be really balancing. And also at the same time you need to be happy and the flourishing about those things. So that sometimes like these areas, one area can be really dropped and the others can be like have really uprising, so that is fine. But many of these areas affecting your life, it means you need to think, okay, am I really healthy? So like my psychological well-being is in what point? So that first thing is take care of yourself. It means the self-care. Okay, like the have your not only the junk food, like take your time and have your nutritious meal and sleep well and do your exercise. And as well as like if you think, okay, I'm going through something difficulty, or I can't discuss these things openly with my friend or family members, go to someone and discuss these things, because basically the therapy and counseling is sort of stigmatized topic in Sri Lankan context, but if you are reaching out to these professionals, actually you can get more benefited. Like you can develop as a human being.
All right, fantastic. Nilusha Gunathilaka, thank you so much for sharing your perspectives and expertise.
Thank you so much, Sonali.
Thank you for watching us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.